Now we have a journey into danger. I'm not sure about these titles as we move. So now we have a journey into dangerous territory with Bartosz, who I saw had a microphone on earlier on. So please be kind with these people. We're into kindness at the moment, but thank you. Dangerous territory.
Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Yes, let me take you for a journey. Actually, let me and G2A take you for a safe journey into dangerous territory. Let's talk about fraud. And since it's better to prevent the fraud, this is what I will be focused on during this presentation. So at the beginning, let's start the obvious. E-commerce is growing. How big is, what numbers are behind this? I'm not saying only about Chinese market, which is predicted to hit $1 trillion this year. Also not about Amazon, the best day of last year and the best in the history, by the way, except Amit, please don't say anything. Which day of 2018 was the best day of Amazon sale? Come up, please. Black Friday? No. Cyber Monday? No. Thanksgiving, yes. And the point is that it was bigger of 28% than 2017. That's the tempo of growth. When we compare retail sales, traditional retail sales and online sales, there are a few numbers behind it, which probably you know. And when we look at this of 2018, there is 12%. Seemingly, it's not too much. But when we go deeper into the details, let me show you the survey that provided PwC on 25,000 respondents. And then we can see that in some categories like books, music, videos, toys, already e-commerce is bigger than traditional sale. In two huge categories, one is consumer electronics and computers. The second one is fashion. It's almost the same. So within next months, maybe 1-2 years, it will be bigger. That's only a context. Since e-commerce is growing, then also crime and fraudulent activities online are on the rise. Please take a look here. That's another survey of big four companies. And here we can see clearly that year after year, from 2019 to 2018, the fraud rate is going up. It doesn't matter which region of the world we take, if that is Africa or Asia, especially Latin America or North America, they have a huge growth over the last 2 years in fraudulent activities. On the top of this, EY provided data that over the last 2 years, 11% of companies experienced very significant fraud. And 40% of companies plan to boost their spendings within the next 2 years on anti-fraud systems and security of the customers. So you may ask the question, what is the biggest problem in terms of security? What is the biggest problem? That may be. Somebody said a fraud. The biggest problem, actually, when you look from the perspective of revenue, is something which is called false positives. Legitimate transactions that are declined because e-commerces think that this can be a fraud. False positive is a fear of fraud. Let me give you an example. Last year, I wanted to buy a product in the United States and one of two biggest tennis e-commerces. So I put everything to the basket. I spent like 30 minutes there. I go to the checkout. I want to pay a legitimate transaction. And sorry, I try again. I contact the support of this e-commerce. Sorry, we cannot process your transaction. So what I did, I switched immediately to the competitor. end competitor was super happy and glad to process transactions, and from that moment, I am a loyal customer of the second company, not the first one. What is happening when the customer spends minutes or hours on our site, and then he wants to do the legitimate transaction, and we are saying no, because maybe we don't want to take the risk, maybe we don't recognize properly the country, maybe our systems are not efficient. What's happening? The customer is declined, and from emotional point of view, he is not only disappointed, sometimes he is furious. Have you been there? Many times, huh? What that means, that e-commerce is losing not only one transaction, it's losing this customer most probably forever. And also its brand reputation, because this customer is super unhappy with that e-commerce. And here at this room, we have a few hundred of great companies. So guys, we lose on daily basis millions of transactions. We lose every day millions of good, legitimate transactions because of this, because of false positives. You can ask, why am I here? So how G2A deal with this? Let me put things into perspective. There are thousands of e-commerce in the world. Here you can see some of great examples, good companies. And now let's take a look how they deal from the risk perspective. What is about me being here today and G2A being here? G2A is a global marketplace which specializes in digital products. And digital products are the most exposed for fraud. So that means, theoretically, that my company is the most exposed company on fraud. So let's see how, in general, e-commerces deal with this. The first question, does it allow to sell digital products? Let's remove from this picture those companies who doesn't. The next layer would be that can you pay with credit card for a digital, so the most risky item. Let's remove those companies where you cannot pay with credit card for digital items. They don't want to go? Yes, finally. That was like with the customer. He's trying and trying and trying, getting a little bit frustrated. What is happening? Why is it not working? Finally, it goes. The next question. Can you purchase without creating an account? Why creating an account is important? Because you store the data. But on the other side, we lose conversion because customer must do additional things. The longer the journey, the worse for the conversion. So let's take a look which of these companies require and remove those again. Yes, it happened. So what is the next layer? The next layer would be a question, is that a marketplace? Why marketplace is a little bit different than the regular e-commerce store? Because you have buyers and sellers. So you have potential fraud on two sides. More things, more features to secure. So let's remove those companies who are not a marketplace. And what is the next layer if you go deeper? Is it global? There is not a single market that can compete with this global exposure when you deal on 6 continents. I would say 7, but honestly, we never had a transaction from Antarctica. We had from North Korea, but never from Antarctica. We had from Greenland. So let me show you which companies are not global and which are global. And there is one more layer there. Which of these companies allow you to sell high-risk products? What do I mean by saying high risk? High risk is high-end merchandise. It's a digital product. It's a product that you can easily monetize into the cash, like gift cards, or maybe something you can very fast sell, like in-game items. That's the more difficult to secure products. So let's remove the company which doesn't allow to sell. As you can see, guys, we are in fantastic a company. We have a great companion there. And why am I showing this to you? We started our business in 2010. And from that time, we created a marketplace that has 20 million buyers, over 400,000 sellers, and operates in almost 200 countries. We created API to easily integrate not only with our platform, so you can sell your products on our platform, but also you can take our products and sell on your platform. And also we created our own payment hub, where you have 200 payment methods for customers. So let me share with you what we have learned from all of this. Sometimes very hard way, I must say. But let me show you. How are e-commerce transactions secured in general? This is something that almost every e-commerce is doing. A very short movie. Take a look. And please pay your attention how many personal data the user is leaving on the site.
The user enters the site through his browser, checks what offers are on the home page, scrolls through to see if something catches his eye, then goes to type in the title he came here to buy. In this case, a very interesting game from a Polish independent studio. He looks through the types and selects the variant he wants. The user then checks out the product page and scrolls down to browse through the offers from many different sellers. The offers are increasing in price, so he goes back to one of the cheapest ones from an excellent seller, quickly scrolls through the seller's ratings, and clicks on that product. One last check of the product and platform, everything looks good, and he is ready to buy. He goes to his cart, types in his email address, checks the box to get offers from G2A, and continues to payment. He quickly looks through the payment method options. Credit card seems most convenient. Checks out the offer and clicks pay with cards. He now types in his card number, expiration date, CVV, confirms. Everything went smoothly. And here is his key. The transaction is complete.
It's done. The product was sold, the product was sent. How many information did he left? Did he leave there? 6? 4? Actually, it was 4. Yeah, very simple. Email address, card number, CVV, and expiration date. Is that true? Yes? No? Yes? Some of you know that there is a catch here, huh? Okay, the most important thing, of course, is what is happening from the backend perspective. Because customer, yes, he left 4 information. But what we saw during the transactions was something totally different. Within 1 second, when the customer enters our site, we know already several information about him, dozens. Where does he come from? What kind of computer he has? What kind of graphic card, IP number? Where is he located? And so on and so on. So with 90% certainty, we can say, after 1 second, if the transaction will be successfully completed when he wants. And how do we assess the risk? A very short picture about it. So we take the data in bulks, few of them, identity, behavior, device, history, and demographic. Then, with the algorithm we have, we combine the score from negative 10,000 to positive 10,000. Negative is bad, we don't want this customer. Positive is green, of course, we love him, stay with us forever. Sometimes we don't know. So sometimes while checking all these algorithms and asking questions, and we ask tons of questions, over 100 different parameters, which we check during these few seconds when the customer is there. Starting from what is your name, where are you, what is your history, how often do you buy, from which country you are. Maybe we want to see the demographic, so are you hidden behind VPN? Why? Is there some proxy, a server between us? What are you hiding? And so on questions. And then, when we don't know, when there is a controversy, what we do? We flag the place and we do manual check. So now let's go quickly to US market, because US market is one of the most exposed for scammers and fraudulent activities. So let me walk you through this very simple table. Firstly, you can see the merchant revenue, which means what size of the company is that? If that is below $5 million, oh, that is between 5,025,000, maybe 5,100,000, and then over 100. And then manual review rate. What is that? A specialist who is sitting there and checking the transaction. But from the perspective of your company revenue, this is a cost. So the lower manual review rate, the better. And another layer is rejected orders. Here it comes. Here we have false positives. Those frustrated customers, legitimate customers, which we say, goodbye, we don't want you, because we don't know how to validate your transaction. And some e-commerces basically refuse to service these customers. They are so much afraid of risk, or maybe they so much don't know how to deal with the risk, that they basically losing those customers. So the lower rejected orders, the better. And few numbers. And the customer, yes, less than 5 million. What that means? Manual review rate, we've got 47%, and pretty low rejected orders. Then from 5 million to 100, manual review rate is going down. Why? Because you don't have so many people to check all of these transactions. But simultaneously, you are losing more orders. You are rejected them often. And then when the company is really big, what happens? Then you've got, again, manual review rate a little bit lower because your systems are more efficient. And at the same time, you have most probably lower rejected rate. So where is G2A in this? We have 3% of manual review and about 2% of rejected orders. And why am I saying that? Because the question is, what is the future of e-commerce security? And the future, let's start with the past. So 1980 was paper-based systems. Then 95, automated rules, then scoring models, then data sharing, and finally AI came into the game. And the future, of course, based on blockchain, on full automation and fully applied artificial intelligence. So what's the difference when AI enters the game? We still have all those attributes that we gather from customers, but AI makes a big difference. AI sees more than people can see, more connections between them. So how that looks on the graph, which I showed you before. That was before. The same data, 100 attributes, the same information from customers. But AI is working differently. AI is doing something like this. Checking millions of connections between those data. Something that human is not able to do. Because it would took 2 years for one transaction to check everything. But here we have something instant. That's the difference. And the another one is that you don't have the score, you have the decision. And another layer is that AI, with all machine learning technologies, learns itself. So we started our AI few months ago. And now it's feeding data. It's consuming tons of data. And we see results already. What's the difference in terms of these numbers? Our aim within a year from the moment when we started is to have manual review rate below 1% and the same rejected orders below 1%. That's the change. Maybe eventually we create a product on this, but firstly, we work on this inside a company. And that is a glimpse of inspiration, guys, for you. This is what I wanted to share. and wishing you very nice day. I want to say, let's secure our customers, let's keep them safe. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Very much, Bartosz. Thank you. Fascinating.